Hey everybody, Zee Garcia here, and today we're going to be taking a look at a party game from a designer that is very hot right now, Wolfgang Warsch. The game is Subtext. In this game, two players are going to have the same word around the table, and they are going to draw a little illustration, a little sketch based on that word, and then it is up to everybody to figure out where the match is, including the people who drew that match, but you don't know who your partner is. I'm going to go ahead and give you a look at how the game works. We're going to come on back after that, and I'll tell you what I think of it, and just some general thoughts as far as what kind of party game this is. To set up the game, every player is going to pick a color. They are going to get the tokens of that color that are necessary for the number of players. And then everyone gets a pencil and some of the sheets of paper in this little pad that is included with the game. And you are ready to begin. You just need to pick a level of word that you are playing at, with lower numbers being easier. So you've got here the 1, you put it up here. But you can go with the 2, the 3, a 4, 4 or 5 there. And that ties into what word on the card you are going to be looking at. So there are the words on the card. And the way it works is you're going to play a number of rounds depending on the number of players. So for 5 players, 10 rounds. You are going to, on your turn, when you are the leader of the round, you draw a card, you take a look at the word. In this case, my number 1 word there is dinosaur. Obviously, nobody would know this. I'm going to memorize that, and then I'm going to draw a number of these equal to the number of players at the table minus 2, just so that everybody gets one. So I'm going to need 4 cards here, and then I shuffle these 4, and I'm going to give one to each player at the table. So this player gets one, that player gets one, that player, that player. All of these tokens, by the way, the standees are used to track score, so they would be at the bottom of the track, off the track right now. And then everyone draws a clue to their word, to their original word, okay? So you draw something that I think might be related to dinosaurs. So I might draw, say, a barrel of oil, right? I might do that. Do this. And everybody's doing this at the same time. There we go. And there's a little bit of downtime in this part, just because everybody's, doing this. There we go. So that might be my drawing there. Barrel of oil. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. But everybody has done this. Then I'm going to, once we're all ready, I'm going to put my word over here next to this little spot. And everybody else puts theirs over here somewhere. It won't matter where. They put it somewhere. Once everyone's done that and they've done the drawing phase, then we get to the guessing phase, in which everybody, including me, is going to attempt to figure out which of the cards over here, which clue matches the original clue I had. And everyone's doing this. So you want to be able to find each other, the leader of the round and their partner, but you don't want to make it too obvious. You want other people to mess up, right? And so you take the tokens here. They have letters A, B, C, and D in this case, and you pick the one that it is going to be. Everyone does that, and then they are all revealed. So let's say, whatever this ends up being, I picked D, this player picked D, this one picked B, this one picked A, and this one also picked D. Once they're all revealed, then I say what my word was. The player who did get it points at theirs. Let's say it was indeed D. Everyone who is wrong flips their token face down. Those 2 players flip theirs face down. Now, if the person who had it, let's say it was the green player here, and myself, if we guess the correct one, then we are going to get points. And we score a number of points equal to the number of wrong guesses. But we both have to get the right card out here. So in this case, 2 points. So yellow and green get 2 points. Everybody else, if they guessed incorrectly, they get nothing at all. So this light blue player is going to go away. The dark blue player is going to go away. And then this one, the aquamarine there, the greenish, they're going to get a number of points equal to the number of wrong guesses plus 1. So they're going to go to 3. All right? And once that's done, that's 1 round. The next player, you can take your tokens back. The next player is going to be the one drawing a card. They're going to take one of the cards here. They're going to look at the word. Ferrari is the word in this case. Then they draw a number of cards, shuffle them up, give everybody else one, and we do it again. And that's the game. You play a number of rounds, see who's got the highest score. If you go above 12, you do have a token here that shows 12 on one side, 24 on the other to keep track of, you lapping the track here. And at the end of those 10 rounds, you figure out who the winner of the game is. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So let's go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of the game, how it feels, and just some overall opinions. All right, so there it is, Subtext. Let's go ahead and dive into this. My general thoughts on this one before I break it down are that it's an okay game. There are better drawing games, and there are better find the hidden partner games, right? The find the hidden connection style games. This one is a little slower than most of those, than pretty much all of those. It's a little less attractive than pretty much all of those. So those are the main issues I'm going to have with this. But let's go ahead and dive into it, all right? So we're going to start off with, I'm just going to go down the list here. Theme, there is no theme on this, but that's fine. I honestly am not bothered by it in this case because they also, the aesthetic and sort of what they went for, that is a themeless party game, I'm not bothered by. I'd rather have this than a badly pasted on theme. So that's okay. It's not great. It isn't exciting, but it's okay. The aesthetics are okay. I like the components in the game. Those are good. The little pad of paper leaves something to be desired, certainly. But everything else is fine. The game just looks really bland, though. And nothing in the game is shiny. There is nothing there that inspires an invitation to the table. And the box is huge. It's largely empty, this big box. So overall, the aesthetics are somewhere down the middle for me, Replayability, I think, is good. There are a ton of words. You do get very little paper, and the little pieces of paper are very tiny, which means you're going to need to replace them. If you play this game a few times, you'll need more paper. You're going to have to find a way to get pieces of paper that are about that size. I guess you could go with, cards, maybe index cards, but that's going to be an expensive solution. So there is that. You could do that. But there is a lot of content. There is a massive word bank in it, and I like that aspect of it. Game length. The number of rounds is adjustable, so that's not a problem. I do think 10 rounds is probably too many, but that is the highest it can possibly be, with 5 players twice around the table. The other player counts might be 8 rounds, 9 rounds, so it's a little lower, but you can adjust that down a little bit. You play 5 rounds. Each player is the leader one time. I don't know how satisfying that's going to be, but it will be shorter. The other thing, though, that I put into game length is downtime. And there is a lot of downtime in this game. The ratio of action, as in player interaction and something being dealt with, to you just drawing, sketching, looking at a card, drawing, sketching, picking a token, is very low. For a party game, there's very low interaction, very little conversation that really needs to happen, right? You can put that in there, but it falls in line for me with things like Codenames, in which, and even Codenames has a little more discussion going on. But it's it's a slower party game than something I would like. A party game, I want them to inspire a party atmosphere. And this one doesn't really do that for me. So that's my issue. Mainly downtime. A lot of waiting around, drawing, waiting, just waiting on reveals and waiting on things. Ease of play is very good. The game is clean, it's straightforward. The scoring took a couple of reads to understand, but flipping the tokens over for the players that are wrong is going to assist you in that, so definitely use that little rule. That helps. So that's fine. No issue there. And then lastly, and really my biggest hit, is tactics and strategy and luck and those things. Luck is fine. It's a party game. I don't have a problem with that. It's about the tactics in the game. This game is kind of like Dixit, in which you have to find some hidden information from among a group of pieces of information, right? Same thing. Except this one it's uglier and it's slower because you have to draw the cards and they're not going to look as good as Dixit cards. So there is that. There's another level to that which I think really hurts the tactics in the game, and that is that in this particular game, there is no room for bluffing. There is no room for tactics, really. All you can do is try to mask what you think your word is in hopefully a clever way. That oftentimes goes wrong because A, none of the other words at the table ended up being something that masked your original intention, or B, you and your partner were both clever in the same way. And you end up drawing pretty much the same thing. And everybody sees it and goes, that one. And then that's a very unsatisfactory round. It's just not a very interesting part of the game. So at the end of the day, it's about accidental cleverness that might happen. I might be avoiding my real word and accidentally step into your connection and become a problem, become something that people might vote on because it kind of might match yours. But accidental cleverness just isn't as satisfying as actual trickery. As you, like in Dixit, saying something, a word or a phrase, and I have a card in my hand and I go, ooh, I want to mess you up on this one, and I throw that out there. I'm being actively tricky and clever. In this one, you might be passively tricky and clever, and it's possible you'll mess up. But you don't know what you're trying to mess up. There's another older word game called Link that I doubt many people have played or know about that was a very similar concept to this. That was a word game, though, in which, again, there were two people who both had a word that did not know each other, and they were trying to find one another. But you would do this with some actual cleverness and trickery, because you would say a word around the table, a single word, hopefully nebulously related to that thing, but everybody got to hear what was being delivered. So if you said suitcase and you said clothing, and then it got to me, and I didn't know what the word was because I got a blank card, I would say shoes. And I might throw someone off, but I'm actively doing something. And this one, you don't get to do that because it's a simultaneous reveal. I don't know what I'm trying to do or match, or am I the match? Great. But if I'm not doing anything, So I'm not doing anything to affect the game, that is. So that's partly why I find the resolution of rounds a little unsatisfactory. I don't get to point in mine and go, haha, look what I did. There isn't that. It's just not engaging in that way. So overall, the game isn't bad. It's just a little slow, and it has a real lived-in feel. It seems like an older game. It looks like an older game. And it just feels like it's, I could understand if this had come out in, 2004, and by now better games that use some of the same concepts have come out. Then I'd be like, yeah, but this one was good for its time. But right now, as a new release, it seems a little dated to me, And I find it to be just not as clever as what's already on offer in very much the same sphere. That's the problem. I would say it's definitely better with more players because you're hoping for some of that accidental crossover. But there are still so many better choices. Again, this is the negative review, certainly, but it's not a horrible one. This game is not atrocious. I just found it underwhelming. If you like the idea of Pictionary with a twist, this is the one for you. You're going to enjoy this. For me, I'd rather play something that is a little faster, a little prettier, and gives me the same emotions. Because that's what I'm looking for in the game, is for it to elicit some sort of emotion. And that gotcha feeling isn't really a part of this. And I want it to be. If I'm playing a little sort of spy game, spot the match kind of game, I want to be able to mess with people. And in this one, you don't really do that. So there you go. That is Subtext. And those are my final thoughts. Thanks, everybody, for checking this out. I'm Zee Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com.